Whenever you are ready, you may begin.
Okay. So hey everyone, today I'm going to be talking about Do Androids Dream of Electric Sheep? It's a book written by Philip K. Dick, and more specifically, I'm going to be talking about ethos and its importance in creating meaning, establishing theme, and then furthering the story forward. So first of all, in order to understand what's going on in the book, we need to talk about what ethos is. Very simply put, ethos is what the characters are and how they're shaped by their origin and their origin of action. And in this book, the origin of action, their motivation, is really important to how the story progresses. So, first of all, the book is about a bounty hunter called Rick Deckard, who specializes in hunting androids who have escaped from their owners. Because in this cyberpunk futuristic dimension, I guess, in this world, robots are being used as slaves in order to do people's work. But there's a group of new models that have escaped from Mars and have went to Earth in order to talk to the creator of these robots, in order to extend their lifespan and find meaning in their lives. So, in order to further the topic of ethos, we're going to be comparing Rick Deckard and the leader of the group of androids, Roy Batty. So, while I'm talking, I want you to be thinking about, is Rick Deckard truly human, and is Roy Batty truly robotic? So, and I also want you to focus on empathy and how characters show empathy. So first of all, I'm going to be talking about Roy Batty. Roy Batty. He is his goal in life is, in his pretty short life, is to save this group from their 4-year date of death, pretty much. They have a 4-year lifespan. And he is, as you can see, he doesn't look like a robot. He is really human, and he's described as running a drugstore. He was a pharmacist, and his wife handled the beauty side, the creams, the ointments. On Mars, they use a lot of skin conditioners, and even in him being described by the narration, he is very human. He's described as having a job, having a wife, and caring about other robots. And then later on, Roy Batty's voice boomed out with new unexpected warmth. Roy echoed, his new smile now immense. First of all, it's really important to note that he is the most brutal out of the group. He is the most brutal and the most thoughtful. But he is often described as wanting to kill humans in order to save his group of replicants, of robots. Which is pretty normal, I think, because he is trying to do everything in order to save his family, pretty much. And then on the other side, we have Rick Deckard, who is described as being human and going after robots who look like this. And okay, this is Rick Deckard. He also looks human, obviously, but he is his life is in a slump. His wife is depressed. He doesn't really care about it, but the only problem he sees is that she lacks the vitality in order to care for him. He also has this electric sheep, which is really the only thing you could say he cares about, but he doesn't really, because for him it's fake. It doesn't do anything. And when he goes to kill these replicants, he doesn't feel any remorse. He is happy to kill. And But it's important to note that as the story progresses, he gets more and more. He gets to know them more and gets to know like that they like the things he likes. And for example, there's this woman, robot, Luba Loft, who is an opera singer. She works at an opera. She performs his favorite opera by Mozart, and before he has to kill her, he really hesitates. He is the only thing that's stopping him is his love for music, which is really human. But on the other side, Luba is she asks for a book before she's killed, and her favorite book, which describes her entire life, which is, again, very human of her. And we can also compare their stories to Marceau and The Stranger. The most important difference is the narration and how perspective is shown in both novels. In The Stranger, it's in first person, which means that we get to know everything that Marceau thinks and everything that he does. We get to know the motivation behind everything, all of his actions. But in the novel I'm talking about, it's in third person, meaning that we don't really know what people are thinking. We don't know their motivation, how their brains work. Even the robots, we don't know if they work on calculations. Do they think, or how do they work? We never get to know. In conclusion, the comparison between Roy and Deckard is really important because they both follow sort of the same development. Roy, as he gets closer to death, he doesn't find the cure. He has to die like everyone else, and he gets scared like any person would. And then Deckard, he gets more in touch with them, and then he becomes more empathetic and is very hesitant to killing Roy. And then in the end, both of them get in touch with their empathetic side, and they really feel for each other. And there is this question that arises when thinking about this, because we aren't necessarily told what they both are. We're told that Roy is an android, but from his actions we can see something completely different. And Deckard, we see him living a human life and doing what he's told, almost like a robot. And following this comparison, and then how he is as similar to Roy as he is, I just wanted to ask you, do you think that Deckard might actually be a robot, as in something more advanced than humans that can experience life in a similar way?
Yes.
Yeah, that's it.
Okay, questions?
Do you think this humanization of the androids, robots, is that right?
Yeah.
Changes their ethos?
I mean, that is like their ethos. They're described as being like, they look like humans. They look like humans, they act like humans, and the only thing that separates them from like actual human beings is that when asked certain questions, they don't respond with the same sort of feelings or empathy.
Do you think that if it was not in third person omniscient, is it omniscient? It was gonna be like better to know what their thoughts were.
We will definitely know what the thoughts were, but we would miss like the whole point of the book, having it shrouded in mystery, because the point is that we can make the comparison between Deckard being human and then Roy being a robot, because they're really similar. They're hunting like each other pretty much, and then Deckard is trying to get more empathetic towards them and then feel some sort of remorse after killing them. And then Roy, who has no problem killing people in order to save like his group of robots. And in the end, he feels empathetic towards humans because he knows what it's like to be one.
Okay, like one more maybe.
Okay, so you said that both the robot and the human feel empathy. So if they both feel empathy, where do we draw the line between a human and a robot?
Well, that's like the entire point of that's a good observation because that's the point of the book because they're extremely similar and then the difference between them is we can't see them. We don't know. If you saw one, you wouldn't know if it's a robot or human. And the point is that even if you aren't biologically human, it doesn't necessarily mean that you can't express human qualities.
Okay, great.